Hello, everybody. Welcome to your weekly AAA Hole podcast. I, of course, am your AAA Hole, Death Witch. We're here to talk about everything gaming related. And as usual, is my co-host with me, Ozzy the Australian. Say hey to everybody, Ozzy.
Hey everyone.
And I'm gonna do things a little differently this week, and I'm just gonna let him just dive right into it because he's done a little more homework on this topic than I have. So I'm gonna pass the torch over to Ozzy. He has some E3 predictions for us. Tell us what's going on at E3, Ozzy.
Well, most I've been listening to everyone's E3 predictions over the last couple of weeks, and just basically for Nintendo, really don't care about PlayStation. There's a few things coming there, but it's your usual GIF, and no one really cares about EA, so we're going to get sports games and stuff like that. Basically, what we're looking at for Nintendo is a lot of people are saying we're going to get live gameplay for Pokemon Sword and Shield, but they're not thinking that's going to be in the actual direct. That's going to be more of the treehouse thing that follows. So that's going to be live, on the go, uninterrupted gameplay, which should hopefully be good. One thing that I'm thinking we are actually going to get, no one's really commented on it, but I think we're going to get a real in-depth look at Mario Maker. Basically going over all the new bells and whistles, because we really haven't had that yet. And there would have to be some sort of showing how you share your levels, if they're going to stay with the old version from Mario Maker 1, or if they're going to implement a new. They're going to have to tell us that beforehand, and that's all going to come within this E3 Direct, would be my prediction. There's talk of showing of the next Animal Crossing. There's also talk that we won't get anything on Metroid Prime 4 this E3 because it's just been taken over by a new studio. Depends on what resources they've got, how much they can actually save from the past set, or do they have to start all over again?
Oh, they've already said that they are starting completely from scratch. They are scrapping what they had of Metroid Prime 4 and going straight back to the drawing board. They weren't happy with it, which props to them on that. Like, I want to see more companies that do that.
So yeah, if that's the case, we're definitely not getting anything from Metroid Prime 4 at E3.
Yeah, I see them using it as more of a deep dive into the stuff that they've already kind of announced, to show maybe some features for Mario Maker that they hadn't advertised yet. You know, they do have to save some nuggets for E3, but I don't see them making a big show of it, seeing as how they've all but pulled out. Sony completely pulled out. They're going to have no presence at E3 whatsoever. When it comes to EA and your publishers, the big thing I'm expecting from EA is hopefully, they're going to use E3 to announce their official Switch version of Apex Legends. I
don't actually think PlayStation will actually pull out of E3. I think they're going to basically bait and switch on this, and they're not going to do a Hall H press conference. They're going to do their state of play direct
so do their state of play thing, but instead of doing it on a live stream, they'll do it live at E3. Yeah, I mean, I can see them doing
that. They just do it the same way Nintendo does.
Yeah, kind of copy them.
So we'll have some sort of showing of what's coming from them, but it won't be on the show floor or in one of the halls. That's what I think they're going to do with we're not showing at E3.
Yeah, I expect some surprises at E3, but the show as a whole, I expect it to be this scaled down version of the show compared to previous years, because they aren't saving, Sony's saving no news really. I mean, when they've got an announcement, they've got their state of play, they announce it. Nintendo does the same. Xbox has kind of done that. They haven't really set aside a specific, podcast or live stream for it the way that Nintendo does a direct or they do the state of play. But when they've had an announcement, they've just made an announcement. That being said, Xbox is the one I'm most looking at because they've been real quiet lately.
They've been super quiet. Microsoft hasn't really made any announcements. So possibly the only thing that I can foresee them showing is the Master Chief Collection for PC.
Well, I mean, those are the things that we know about. There may be
giving a firm date.
Yeah, I mean, there could be complete projects that we're unaware of. That I mean, because they're going to have to announce something other than that, and there could be some new hardware or Xbox Live kind of plans for. I think if there's any big announcements, I think they tested the waters with their. I think that I don't want to say that they're going to repeat history. I think that they were testing the waters in order to repeat history, so to speak. Because remember when they first announced Xbox One, they were trying to kill used games and doing the always on DRM thing, and it didn't roll over well.
That whole fiasco.
But they just tried it again, and it seems to be doing well for them by releasing that version of the Xbox that doesn't have a disk drive. So they didn't put the words DRM in it. They didn't try to make it seem like it was an anti-piracy thing. They tried to make it sound like it was a cost-cutting thing, and that seems to have rolled over much better for them PR-wise than trying to make it sound like we're taking away your used games. They made it seem more like a convenience thing for people now. And
I think people are more
open to it now. Yeah, definitely.
To it now.
I have over 200 games on my PS4. Only 2 of them are physical disc. So I buy almost nothing in physical disc form anymore. I know plenty of other people who do the same, and Xbox has kind of proves that the world might be ready for discless game systems because their Xbox without the disk drive is selling pretty well. Like, it's not Switch level well, it's not PS4 level well, but it's doing better than what, people had predicted it would do. People thought they were going to reject it and it would be a niche market, and it's not. It's a cost-effective way to make a console. It's the cheapest version of their console. It kills the used game market entirely for that console owner, and it does it in a way that doesn't make it seem like you're punishing them. You make it seem like it's their choice. I think we'll see more of that. I think from these companies at this E3, any big announcements are going to be, because I know the big rumors are this will be the E3 when they announce their next gen consoles, where you'll get a PS5 announcement, where you'll get a Xbox, whatever the fuck they call the next one, because they don't use numbers like a normal person.
I don't know, because the next thing I'm going to bring up is, okay, it's swinging for far right field here. So this is a long shot call, but we've got ripples of it in the past that they will announce Game Pass for PC and Switch.
Oh, I definitely think that's going to be. That's why I said that they're probably going to announce a different way to do games. They tested the waters with the diskless Xbox, and I think that if they do announce a next-gen console, I'm not sure it'll be diskless, but I think its focus will be diskless gaming. Like, it'll still have discs, but they're going to advertise the benefits of not using a disc. Or if they do announce a next-gen console, maybe they'll make 2 versions of it right out the gate, one with a disc drive and one without, and see which one people buy more. And then I think that they're really going to revamp their Game Pass service. Oh, yeah. And they're really going to focus on digital versions of everything, because that's the way to do it. And it's a smart move. It's a really smart move.
And as I said, putting it fully onto PC through their Microsoft Store and the rumored
Switch version of it.
Switch version, yeah. Now, I think the Switch version might be limited. it will be limited to things like that are Xbox 360 back, so not Xbox One stuff. That
Depends on
way,
how they do it. If they can do it the way that PlayStation does PlayStation Now, where you're not actually downloading the game onto your console, like I think it'll be a mixture of the two. Like there'll be games on the Switch that you can actually download and play offline on the Switch that run entirely on the Switch, and then they'll have the more high-end games that the Switch isn't capable of running on its own, but streaming it. So you'll have to have a strong internet, but you could stream the game and play the game on your Switch that way.
Well, that's the other thing that they brought up on the Nintendo Voice Chat podcast this week, is that Nintendo's possibly going to be announcing more collaboration on that system, because in Japan they're already running that you can stream Resident Evil 7 to your Switch. You don't download it, but you stream it the same way that they were talking about for Stadia.
Yeah, see, I think if Microsoft's smart, then that's what they'll do, is they'll incorporate some of that into their Game Pass. I mean, they definitely still need the downloads for those people who don't have internet strong enough to do the streaming service. And the same way that NVIDIA has done with their Shield forever. I frequently use my Shield to play games from my PC, to play Elder Scrolls Online, to play Destiny 2 or whatever, in my living room directly on my tablet. While my wife's watching television or something, I got to sit in there with the kids. And I can do that when I'm away from home if my Wi-Fi connection is strong enough. And I think Nintendo doing the same thing, or if Microsoft's smart, then they'll do that. They'll incorporate that into their Game Pass. So there'll be a specific section of the Game Pass just for, streamable games. And if they're real smart, they'll not only do that on PC for those people who don't have a PC powerful enough to run whatever game. It's a nice little backup option for those people who don't have the money to build a powerful PC. For those people who don't have the hard drive space or the space on their SD card on the Switch to download the game. And if they also make a tablet app or a smartphone app version of Game Pass, so that you could even take your Game Pass games with you onto your smartphone or onto your tablet with a Bluetooth controller and play anywhere. Call it Xbox Play Anywhere, which I think is what they've already tried to implement once before. Yeah. If they do that right, that's the change to the game market I was talking about last week, with how games as a service should be done right, to offer you games as a service, not a game that is a service you play, but a service that provides you games.
So, since we're talking about Xbox, do you think we will see the HoloGlass?
No.
Or is that completely dead?
I don't know if it's dead, but it's definitely not near E3 ready. It's not ready to show off yet. And given as how they've...
Remember, they have shown it off in the past at E3, so...
Yeah, but I don't think it's... But you can't keep showing off stuff and then... Because you don't want to go into that realm of, Duke Nukem Forever, where you show it off over and over. That. Yeah, where you show it off over and over again, but you never actually give people something that they can use. And Xbox has been known to drop stuff that they've had immense support for in the past, like dropping the Kinect out of nowhere. I mean, they could have done a lot with that. They could have used that. The Kinect camera itself is a good camera. The technology is good. It was just not implemented right. I mean, the facial recognition was great. Its depth perception was great. That could have been used to put VR on the Xbox. And they just didn't try. Like the camera itself, if you can buy one of those Kinect cameras for Xbox One, even if you don't have an Xbox One, there's a ton of stuff you can do with it on your PC. There's a ton of cool mods and stuff that you really show the power of that. Like streamers use it to have depth perception so that they can give themselves a green screen background without a green screen anywhere. So no matter where they put the camera, all they have to do is use facial recognition software on the camera so it can basically get an outline of you and say, okay, there's the person, and then everything behind it, because it's got two cameras, it's got depth perception, everything behind it, it just deletes and gives you a moving, a green screen, less green screen experience. So you don't have to buy all this equipment to stream anymore. There's a lot of stuff like that. And it's being used for security purposes. Like the camera's powerful and it had a lot of potential, but they dropped it out of nowhere. So they may have dropped this thing entirely. They may show it off at E3. I expect this E3 to be one more full of surprises than the past ones, because with Sony and Nintendo and a lot of companies basically already showing their hand, showing whatever big announcements they already have, the only things left to show at E3 are stuff that they either haven't announced yet at all and they've been keeping secret, or just stuff about things they've already announced that they saved for E3, you know, features for games or specific release dates, that kind of thing. And just more trailer and gameplay footage kind of stuff.
I've just pulled up a schedule for E3 to get, so we can get an idea of what's happening and when it's happening. Your first showing is EA on June the 7th, which is a Friday. And so far they're just talking about Sea of Solitude, Jedi Fallen Order, Madden, that one, and FIFA.
Yeah, I expected the sports things. I expected more. Like, the main things I expect from EA are more on the Star Wars thing, them bragging about how they didn't put microtransactions in it and expecting a pat on the back for not doing a thing they should never do to begin with. And if we're going with any surprise announcements from them, I expect some surprise announcements like Apex Legends for Switch. You know, I expect them to throw some of that out there and get a big round of applause, which is a good move. That should be on Switch if they can find a way to do it.
The next one on the lineup is June 8th, which is a Saturday, and Nintendo. So we're expecting Smash Brothers Ultimate announcements, so possibly a new character.
Yeah, they'll announce the next DLC character they haven't shown yet. So that'll probably happen.
Splatoon, there's apparently going to be a Splatoon 2 tournament.
Okay.
So possibly a new map there, I would say.
Some kind of
show
event.
Off.
Yeah, some kind of event or something they're going to do.
I would suspect that they're going to do another Mario Championship, like they did with Mario Maker 1 for Mario Maker 2.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I expect some events and stuff like that, but as far as actual announcements go, I expect this to be an E3 of more events and just, you know, celebration of games than a showing of things yet to come.
Other things that Nintendo is probably going to show is, we've said Pokemon, no Metroid Prime 4. There's going to have to be some sort of showing and full-on breakdown of Ultimate Alliance 3 for Marvel. Possibly Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of another one of those.
Well, they've announced that they're doing a Luigi's Mansion 3 already. They did that last year. Or last time they did a big press
conference.
Yeah. Same with The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake. An in-depth look at that. There's possibly talk of Bayonetta 3 footage, but I'm hesitant on that.
Yeah, me too. I think that we may see more of the Nintendo collaboration thing with the indies, because they seem to be focusing pretty deep on that, and they hinted at, when they announced that Zelda was going to do a collaboration with that, you know, whatever indie game, I forgot the name of it, the Necromancer one, the Crypt Dancer or whatever, that there's going to be a Zelda version of that. So we may see more, you know, Nintendo loaning out its characters to
more
indies.
Things we've heard of, but just in-depth detail. And a few surprises. I wouldn't put it past them to throw us some curveballs. Microsoft is on June 9th, the Sunday.
And I expect Nintendo, before you move on to Microsoft, I expect Nintendo to do more, because they've been kind of quiet about it since they launched it, but I am expecting them to announce some more VR stuff, because they seem happy with their VR Labo kit. So I expect either VR modes in existing games or them to announce some first-party actual VR games for the Labo kit as a way to push that, which I'm interested in.
Microsoft, we've got Halo Infinite and apparently Gears 5 being shown that people are expecting. So they showed off a little bit of Gears 5 last year. So
yeah, so I'd expect to see more of that.
There's probably going to be more, as well as that PodCap tower defense game, which, okay, we know it's all coming. It was kind of out of nowhere, but also kind of interesting because it's not just we're replacing Gears 5 with this.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to see more surprises at E3, and that's what I'm expecting. Any big announcements to be surprises.
Following that, on June 9th, we've got Bethesda as well. So Microsoft and Bethesda on the Sunday. Bethesda, we're expecting Rage 2, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Some Fallout 76 announcements, I'm sure.
Hopefully something to make that better. Hopefully they've learned something.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do with E3 is announce how they're going to revamp the game and fix it, yeah.
And of course, if they blue ball us on Starfield and Ender Scrolls 6 again, there's going to be an outrage.
Yeah, well, it's not like you haven't got any Elder Scrolls. There's that stellar mobile game they released.
Come on, they blue balled us on that one last year.
I don't know if we'll be getting an Elder Scrolls 6 announcement. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping a surprise Elder Scrolls 6 announcement. But I'm not sure if it's ready yet.
June 10th, the Monday, limited run games, which really haven't heard of, but they looks to be a small company just announcing a few things. I've heard them in passing, but yeah. We'll see what they come up with.
Yeah, I've heard of them too, but I can't think of any games to make off the top of my head. I mean, I guess
following that on Monday, Ubisoft press conference. Maybe a new Assassin's Creed. And definitely they've got to be doing a in-depth look at Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Okay, yeah, I see some of the stuff that Limited Run Games has done. They did, yeah, I recognize some of these.
Okay.
It's nothing huge, but, like Oceanhorn, I think, is one of them here, which I've heard of. Yeah, so they've done some stuff.
They've done some good stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they come out with, especially if they're making a big E3 conference.
Did they make that one too?
But yeah, Ubisoft has got to do something with Beyond Good and Evil because they've basically only done a cinematic trailer so far. And they've talked about Beyond Good and Evil being a open world game, which is, yeah. Your response is basically everyone on the internet's response when they hear that. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with that series, but yeah. And then lastly on Monday we have Square Enix, so possibly something to follow on with Kingdom Hearts 3, maybe. Information on the Final Fantasy VII remake. And I would hopefully like to see something on this mysterious Marvel's Avengers project that they're working on.
Okay. Limited Run Games also did the remake / port of Lumines, which is a puzzle game. They did Jack 3 on PS4. They handled that that remaster / port.
That was actually one of my favorite games for that.
Yeah, so they handled that. What else do they got here? A lot of anime games and stuff I'm unfamiliar with. Nurse Love Syndrome, Giga Wrecker. Yeah, some of their older stuff I don't recognize, but it looks like lately the newer stuff they've done is handle ports of other games like Luminous and Jack 3, Prison Boss VR. Yeah, I got that one on my PS4. Aegis Defenders. You've heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got a few things on there. Saturday Morning RPG, Breach and Clear. They also handled the remaster / port of Oddworld New and Tasty.
Yeah.
So they've done some stuff here.
They've done some pretty good stuff, and as I said, if they're actually throwing their hat into the E3 ring, then hopefully they're going to do something good. The only thing I didn't actually see on that list is the time we're going to get Digital Devolver's press conference.
Okay, which I'm curious to see what they're going to do.
Yeah. Have you ever seen what the past Digital Devolver press conferences?
Oh yeah, theirs are very entertaining.
They are crazy as.
Yeah, but in a good way. They pull it off in a good way. Yeah, so those are our excitement parts about E3. I think we've covered about everything that may or may not happen at this year's version of E3. Now I'm moving on to, and I know you guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but the Epic Games Store has another exclusive under its belt. But put your pitchforks down, put your torches and pitchforks down before you get upset. This is an exclusive not done by greed and not just snatched up to get people to their storefront. This one's done for an entirely different reason, which is the reason why I bring it up, because it's a game I played, which I'm throwing it up on screen for those of you watching on YouTube, but it's a game I played when it came, into its open alpha, open beta stage, and I hadn't really been back to it, but it caught my interest. So it's a free-to-play game called Dauntless, which is on PC now in open beta / early access, whatever you want to call it, where you can download and play for free. But they announced their actual full release date for the game. They announced when it's coming out on They did announce an Xbox One version, a PS4 version, and its release on PC will be an Epic Games Store exclusive. Now, I mean, I'm sure some money was involved. Epic Games is a little friendlier for developers like them who are, independent and smaller, and that it gives better revenue share. They have a chance to make more money, especially since the only money they make off their game is in the form of microtransactions. It's a free-to-play game. So for those of you unfamiliar with the game and are interested in it, it's basically free-to-play Monster Hunter. But its graphics are more along the style of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Fortnite with the cartoony cel-shaded kind of look. It's really fun. From what I played way back when it first, opened up to the public and wasn't a closed thing, it was really grindy and it didn't have much content, but it was in its early stages when I first played it. So they only had like 2 monsters for you to fight at the time. Now they've got way more, and they only had some gear you could grind for, but you got a taste of what the system is like. So it's Monster Hunter, more or less. Team-based Monster Hunter. It's less about, which I hope they've changed it since then, but it's less about the hunt and more about the fight itself with the monster. So it's less about hunting it down and more about just these huge, sprawling boss fights that you need a full team of 4 people to take down. And of course, you collect parts from the monster and stuff like that to make more gear and get more missions. And I'm sure they've added a ton of content since I played it. I need to actually download it and play it again. But when it actually does reach its full launch, it's going to be on the Epic Games Store. When they were asked why they went with an exclusive there, they didn't say, Epic offered them money, or they didn't give some PR bullcrap about Epic's audience. They said it was because of crossplay. They're very interested in crossplay. Epic's agreed to offer them help with crossplay and kind of handle the crossplay functionality for them the way it did for Fortnite if they agree to be an Epic Games Store exclusive, which this is something Epic said they would do in the past. After the success of Fortnite and its, success in the world of crossplay, even to the point of getting PS4 on board, they've basically said, hey, if other companies want help with crossplay, we think crossplay is the future. contact us. If you use Unreal Engine for your game, we'll do it for free. If not, you can pay us and we'll help you implement crossplay into your game. So with Epic handling the crossplay of Dauntless, I'm very much interested in it because I got a ton of friends on PS4 who've been begging me to buy Monster Hunter. And if I buy Monster Hunter, it's going to be on PC. I'm not going to buy it on PS4. So that's a whole group of friends I'm just personally not going to be able to play with. I game on PC. That's why crossplay is important to me. I have a ton of friends who only play console. Friends I know in real life, coworkers, actual friends who I don't just play with online. Like all my PC gaming friends are friends online. I don't know anyone in real life who PC games the way that I do, who builds their own computer and who gets into PC gaming. Everyone I know is a console gamer, and if they have a PC, it's only capable of running lower end stuff like your Fortnite and your free to play, easy to play stuff, easy to run stuff. But giving me crossplay gives me a chance to play with those friends I have in real life who don't have the money to build a PC, who stick to console gaming. I would love to see crossplay. With Mortal Kombat 4, Mortal Kombat 11. I've been dying to get Mortal Kombat 11. I'm debating whether or not to get it on PS4 or PC. I'll probably end up getting it on PS4 just because there's more fighting game fans on PS4. If this were a fighting game that had crossplay, I could totally get it on PC. Crossplay with my friends. I love crossplay. I think it should. The only reason I don't play Warframe on PS4 is because it doesn't do crossplay. I'd have to start over from scratch, and I'm not doing that.
And you don't play Warframe anymore anyway.
Well, I do. It's a time thing at the moment, but I do like the game.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry.
I would play it more if I didn't always have to play it at my PC. Like, I think that's the future of gaming. I think Epic is absolutely right.
I totally agree. Especially cross-account.
Yeah. Like, if you're not going to do cross-play, at the very least, make it so that I can stop playing my game on PC and pick it up, like in the case of Warframe, make it so that after I'm done streaming a game of Warframe and I'm going to leave the house or I'm going to go to the doctor or something, that I can whip out my Switch, log into that same account with access to that same character I just played on PC and pick up where I left off. Even if I can't play with my friends on PC, I can only play with other people on Switch. Just giving me the ability to play as on the same account is important. I think that's crazy important.
Let us play the same account that we're playing on the PC, on the Switch, while we go to the toilet to take a poop.
Yeah, let me play it wherever. Let me pick up where I left off, because that's the future of gaming. People, especially with the popularity of the Switch, people go from their PC to their living room. They go to a friend's house who's got a PS4 and not a PC, or they want to take their Switch with them. Whatever. This is in this world that we live in, where most games are always online anyway. Why are we tying things to specific systems anymore? Why aren't we just, hey, all of your information, and then you don't have to worry about save games and paying for save game cloud services like PlayStation Plus or Nintendo Online. Instead, all the information for your character is stored on the server they force you to log in to play on anyway. That should be the future of gaming. I should be able to, play Warframe on my PC, go into the living room, while my kids are playing, so I'm not trapped in my office, so I can watch my kids, pick my game back up on my PS4, and then when we go to leave the house, if I need to go to the doctor or somewhere, and I get bored standing in line for something, I can whip out my Switch and do a quick mission or two with that same character. Why can I not log? If the game is already running on these systems, why do I need a separate account and a separate character? This is the mistake that Apex Legends made, which is why it failed to beat Fortnite. And they've got some catching up to do if they want to dethrone Fortnite. I mean, they're still fighting it out, but if you look at the Twitch charts, Fortnite's back on top, and Apex Legends is still in the top 10, but it's dropping down to, 7 or 8. And it could be right behind Fortnite, if not surpassing it, but that's the problem, is there's no crossplay, so it's harder to get a party together, especially if you're an Apex streamer, and you're streaming a good game of Apex, and you get viewers coming in, and then they ask, what are you playing on? You say PC, and they're like, oh shit, I'm on PS4. And then they leave. So you fragmented a community for seemingly no reason.
just to go back to the topic we were talking about before, I've just got been going through my news feeds, and we possibly will actually get a look at the Avengers project from Square Enix at this E3. Because in the latest earnings call, it's been reported that Square Enix has teased that the game will launch March 2020.
Ooh, yeah, we're definitely going to see something in it too. They aren't going to have another E3 or big conference before then, so if they're going to show something off, it's going to be now.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to see something. Back to the importance of crossplay, though. Like, I think all games moving forward need to make crossplay their focus. Fortnite showed the overwhelming power of crossplay. No more fragmented gaming communities. There's just, Fortnite just has a Fortnite community. It doesn't matter what system you play on. You guys can all still play together. You don't have to go to a specific Reddit for a specific version of the game. There's just the game. Minecraft also, before Fortnite, there was Minecraft that did a pretty good job of showing this off as well. Because Minecraft slowly moved away from Minecraft Switch Edition, Minecraft Pocket Edition, Minecraft this edition to just being Minecraft. And it doesn't matter where you log in.
Minecraft Everything Edition.
Yeah. And that's how that game has survived, and it's been great for me. And I know those of you watching on YouTube, yes, I am sitting here playing with a Steve action figure from a Lego playset that I had sitting on my desk. Sorry, I fidget when I talk.
That is completely invisible in the shirt.
Oh yeah, because he's got a green shirt. But yeah, there you go. Got my Minecraft Steve figure. I'm just sitting here putting him in different poses and laying him down on my desk because I fidget when I talk. But
he's playing with his Steve.
See, I think that's important for Epic. Like, I think that's the best way for them to market their exclusives. I mean, they're kind of on the right track. Calling out Steam, I think, was a good thing, even if they, even if it didn't roll over well and they did it in kind of a confrontational manner. They need to make their exclusives seem less like a we're holding games hostage in order to teach you a lesson kind of move, and more of a we're really trying to help the gaming community. We're trying to help the gaming industry become what it should be move. Because if you're doing it for the good of all gaming, then it doesn't matter what Steam's doing. And it doesn't matter what other people think, because in the end, they'll thank you for it. And that's, the path of a hero is one that goes through hell. That's what they always say. So yeah, they're going to have to walk through hell. They're going to get a ton of backlash at first, and they just need to power through it. And I'm not even going to address all the other stuff wrong with the store, because in the grand scheme of things, there's other things wrong with the store happen on other stores too. And those other stores always get a pass. Specifically, if I could take another jab at Nintendo for having the fan base that Nintendo has, I was buying stuff on the eShop the other day, and I cannot express enough how much I fucking hate the eShop. With a passion. The Epic Game Store is getting shit for having exclusives and for trying to launch a storefront on PC without basic functionality. This is the same basic functionality the eShop doesn't have, and it's been out longer. There's still no shopping cart on the eShop. So when I was buying games, I found a game I wanted, I had to buy that game. It's slow as shit loading. The navigation is horrible. And then when I find a game I want, I go through the game deals, I find a game I want, I have to buy that game individually. I can't just hit a button to throw it in the cart and queue up all the stuff I want to buy at one time. No, I have to buy each game individually. So then I have to go in and buy that game. Yeah. And then after buying that game, it asks me, and if I'm not paying attention, I'm hitting the button too fast, I can accidentally exit the eShop entirely. Because after making a purchase, it just assumes you're done. Like Nintendo thinks you're only going to log in to buy one game ever. And then it'll be a week before they see you again. Yeah, it says, do you want to exit the eShop?
Exit, or do you want to continue shopping?
And the default, for some reason, is on close. So close the eShop entirely is the default. So if you hit the A button one too many times because it's loading slow and you didn't know if it loaded or not, which I've done, it exits the eShop. You got to go all the way back in from the beginning. Even if you hit continue shopping, though, it reloads the store from scratch. So you're still put back at the main page. You're not put back in the list where you were. So then after buying that game I found on the deals page, I'm put back at the featured list page. I have to go back down to deals. I have to scroll down to wherever I was in that list, which can be long as shit depending on how many deals are going. And it loads slow. It loads about 6 games at a time, and then you have to load the next page, and it takes a while. So then I have to keep going back through to the point where I'm almost done shopping, where I'm like, you know what? I don't even care what else is on sale. I don't want to buy anything else right now. It's a horrible, and Nintendo gets zero flack for it. The Epic Game Store has less problems than the Nintendo eShop, and it gets more shit. And that's why I don't understand all the storefront arguments, because we put up with worse in other places. And even though the PlayStation, the same thing on PlayStation, even though PlayStation has, I don't understand these marketplaces on console specifically. And I'm not a huge console gamer, but the few times I do have to log in to go through the console to buy things, I hate it on every single console. It's a little better on PlayStation because they do have a shopping cart at least. But everything loads slow always. And I don't understand why. You're able to run games like Horizon Zero Dawn on your PS4. You can run full-fledged VR environments. I can't get a fucking text page with pictures to load properly? What are you doing? Fix your shit. Like, I have had the fucking PlayStation Store completely freeze or crash on a regular basis if I scroll too far down a list too fast. Why? You're loading things not even near as intense as the games the system's capable of playing. Why is the storefront so hard for it to load? I don't understand. I don't. And it's not like I'm an idiot when it comes to technology. This is honestly baffling to me. The only thing I can figure is that it's just poorly maintained. And it's the same thing with the eShop. The eShop runs games like Mario Odyssey and fucking Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can run that huge open world game with no loading screens, and I can't load half a fucking list from your eShop without hitting a loading screen or a crash? Why? Just fucking why? Explain that shit to me, because I don't get it. The Epic Game Store has none of those problems, but the Epic Game Store does have its fair share of problems. Its biggest one, though, is a PR problem. And I want to see it do more exclusives like this. I want to see it do more Dauntless level exclusives, where a game is exclusive for the right reason. It's not exclusive because Epic threw a shitload of money at it. It's not exclusive because Epic gives a better deal than Steam, which honestly I see that as being a Steam problem, because Steam should lower its prices. Epic is right. Steam does charge too fucking much to the developers.
Epic even threw down the challenge to them that they would stop buying up exclusives if Steam price matched their thing of how much they actually give back to the developers.
Yeah, which I like that. I do like that they called them out, but I don't like their promise of not doing any more exclusives, because exclusives like Dauntless like this, I think, still need to happen. That crossplay needs to be normalized like this. That you need a way to show the gaming developers, the gaming publishers, the gaming community. You need something on paper you can show them for how, hey, if you allow crossplay, specifically to people like Sony, so that you can have some data you can show them on paper to, throw down in front of them and say, hey, Sony, if you allow crossplay on your system, this is what it will do for your business. And Epic offering those exclusives and saying, well, it was exclusive because it wanted crossplay, and here's what crossplay did for it. And then you have something on paper you can do to show that, yes, not only do gamers want this crossplay and they're willing to download a new storefront for it, that they want it that bad, but the developers want it bad enough that they'll switch from Steam or from storefronts in order to just get access to it. You need something you can put on paper to show that this is what people want. Because this is the future. This is the way games should be. I'm not even going to call it the future. This should be the now. Because Dauntless is one of those games like Warframe where it's always online and you have to log into an account to play. I can do that with some games. You can already do that with, like Elder Scrolls online. I can do that right now. Most MMOs, Final Fantasy 14, I can do that right now. Although Final Fantasy 14 could still eat a dick. Well, I guess maybe not, because you got to do the same thing with Elder Scrolls. If I bought both versions. No, I'm talking about buying separate versions of the game in order to log into the same account. Like if I've bought Final Fantasy 14 on PC, I can log into that same account on PS4, but I'd have to buy the game a second time. And it's the same thing with Elder Scrolls. Fortnite, you of course don't have to buy. I think that the real future would be buying the game once and having access to it on. If it is a game you have to purchase, buying it once should give you access to it on all consoles, seeing as how you're accessing the same account.
You just download it and fill in a login thing, and then it brings up.
You're basically
if you don't have it downloads it, and then it says if you don't have a login, buy here. But if you have a login, you basically just log in and you can continue on with your main account.
Right. I mean, EA's kind of already hinted at this by saying that they're going to change the way they do game launches. They inadvertently told us what they think of how we buy games now when they made that announcement. So for those of you unaware of the announcement, EA said, and of course this announcement happened the day after my podcast last week, so I didn't get to talk about it in last week's podcast. But
they take this with a grain of salt, by the way.
Well, I'm not focusing on the EA portion of things. I'm just focusing on what the message was, which is they kind of accidentally said more than they meant to. So they were saying that they're going to change the way that they launch games, because building hype and launching the $60 game like they did with Anthem, and showing all the things that the game is capable of without actually having it in the game yet, and then building hype for that, and then launching a game where they don't have that in the game yet is bad. And yeah, I've been saying that. That's bad. That's bad. No Man's Sky is notorious for it, to claim to have multiplayer on day one and it didn't. Don't sell people things that aren't in the game yet. I've been saying that.
Don't what talk they said, about stuff you don't intend to be in the game at day one.
Yeah, but what they basically said...
Do not do a No Man's Sky.
Yeah, no, don't. But basically what they said was, we don't buy games the same way we used to, so we're not going to launch games the same way that we used to. And they're right. Back in the day, you bought a game, you owned that game, and you could play it offline, whatever, however you wanted to play it. We don't live in that world anymore, though. Nowadays, you don't buy a game. Most games you don't buy. Most games are online only, and you're not buying the game, you're buying access to the game's server. So you're buying access to it. You don't physically own the game itself. Even the newest version of Call of Duty was like that. It was online only. You were buying access to the game. You don't own the game. You're not
going down to mom and dad pop store and getting Mario RPG.
Yeah, I mean, even if you bought a disc version of the game, you brought it home, you still had to make, an account to log in and play said game on said servers. You still have to have an internet connection, etc. So if that's what we're doing here, if we're selling access to a game server, we're selling licenses now instead of selling games, then treat it like that. Do it right. Sell me a fucking, sell me a Call of Duty license. For Call of Duty Black Ops 5. Sell me a Call of Duty license. And then it doesn't matter, let's just do away with physical media entirely and just make everything a free download on the store. And then after you download it, you have to be able to log into the game. And if you don't have a username and password, well, then you have to buy that access. And then once you've bought that access, once you've bought that license to play the game, let me download it wherever I want to download it. Let me download it on PC. Let me download it on PS4. It doesn't matter. I can just log in and play. If you're going to microtransaction the shit out of all these games anyway, then why do you need to also milk me by saying I need to buy multiple copies of it to play it on more than one device? Just let me download it as many times as I want. Yeah. And then still have all the microtransactions. Just let me fucking... Yeah, and then there's separate accounts on separate things. So then even if I bought the separate copy on PS4, I still wouldn't have access to all the stuff for my character I bought on PC. I'd have to start over and buy that stuff again from the PlayStation Store. No, you'd make more money literally just giving the game away and selling the license. Every game should be a free, quote unquote, free game. Some have a free license, some don't. So then you can do what games on mobile do, which I know we're making the mobile game comparison. Everyone hates that, but you can do what they always do and advertise the game as free, because technically downloading it is free. You wouldn't be lying, but access to its servers would cost money. Access to an account.
Basically show this point in real world example, Jeff quite numerously points out how much I actually enjoy the game Warframe.
This is true.
Now, the thing is, I would download it onto my Switch right now if I could play my PC account on it.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that I can't kills my desire to get it on the Switch in every way.
Yeah, well, I think having all games to just to just be free downloads, and then you have to pay for an account, and maybe have every game come with a free trial on an account. So you don't have to worry about making demos anymore. You just give 2 hours of the game for free or something with an account. Give people a chance to sign up for an account for free and log into the game. If you're going to change the way you're launching games, this is how you launch games to make them work. If you do away with physical media entirely, then you have to give people a way to try before they buy. Because that's the advantage of physical media, is you can go to a red box and you can rent the disc, or you can buy the disc used. You can get it for cheaper, or you can return it to the store if you didn't like it, or resell it to get your money back. If you buy it digitally, you are fucking stuck with it most of the time. And if you don't like the game, tough shit. If you're going to change the way you launch games and you want us to change the way we buy games, then that's how you change it. You make every game basically a game with a launcher that you just download for free, and then you sign into an account and you play it. So you would download the new Call of Duty for free. And as soon as you launch the game, it would ask you to log in. And you'd say, well, shit, I don't have a Call of Duty Black Ops 5 character. Let me hit the create one button. And then it tells you, okay, buying one character in the game and access to the game costs $60. You can make a character for free and play for X number of hours. Give people a trial period. You can play for the X number of hours. You can play for 2 hours or something for free. And then if you want to continue access after that time is up, you must either buy you must buy access.
Well, World of Warcraft basically got this whole thing where you can actually download the game, play it up to level 20, and
yeah.
Now, I've never actually done World of Warcraft, so I don't know how long it actually takes to get to level 20.
Not that long. I did it.
It would give you
about 8 hours for the first time.
Yeah. It would give you a reasonably in-depth look at this is what the game is.
Yeah, gives you a chance to try before you buy, and I think that's very important. If Steam charts are proof of anything, it's that free weekends for games work. They give you 2 days of access to games frequently on Steam as a free weekend, because Steam games are all digital, so you never have the chance to rent those. You never have the chance to try those before you buy them. Now, Steam kind of gave you that access with every game there is by giving you a 2-hour return policy. So if you remember to set a timer on your desk and play it for 2 hours and then say, okay, I don't like it, let me return it, Steam will let you return it. But they often do free weekends for games. You can play it all weekend as much as you want for free. And then if you want to continue having that game on your PC and have access to it, you have to buy it, even though you've already downloaded it. It's how I got into Elder Scrolls Online. You can look at the Steam charts during these sales. Those games skyrocket, usually. They make more sales during the free weekend than some games make during their launch. Because people want that ability to try before they buy. And if we're moving towards a world where we're doing away with digital media, because digital game sales are surpassing physical game sales by a lot, more and more every year. Less and less games are coming out on disc. Like, only your big name games come out on disc anymore, really. So
to basically give it a real world example, if people can't, for some reason, can't see what we're getting with, take two different drinks that we've got two new drinks on the market you've never had before. One I'm charging $10 for, the other one I'm charging just for your first shot free. Which are you going to choose?
yeah, you're going to choose the one that lets you, taste test first.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, and most people do. And that's what they need to do. They need to, if we're changing the way we launch games, EA, listen up. Other developers, other publishers, listen up. This is how the way we launch and consume games should be in the future. You want to focus on this games as a service thing. I know I talked about this last week, so I won't go as in depth. I'm just going to go with this is how I want to see every game launched in the future. Give me a game as a service. That's fine. Either make all of this free as part of a subscription package. So I'm buying a subscription and then I can just download my games and play them for free for a monthly fee, and have some games, that I have to make an account for, some I don't. Fine. The point is I have to access the game because of a subscription, and I never own the game because right now we never do anyway. You can literally buy a game for $60 now and be banned from it and never be able to play it. So we're not buying the games anymore. We're buying accounts. And if that's the case, just give me a monthly fee that lets me play the games that I want to play, and create accounts for the games that needs accounts. And the ones that don't need accounts, I can just, they're just part of my fee. But if you're not going to do that, go ahead.
Oh, and if you're going to have us create an account, allow us to have that account on any system that you're going to put it out on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That one account.
Oh yeah, I was getting to that. So
yeah.
If you're gonna make it so that you're not doing subscriptions, you're not doing an Xbox Game Pass kind of deal, then fine. This is how you launch individual games, companies and developers now. Launch the game, make it free to download. Charge me for the account. Charge me for access to the game. Don't make me pay before I download it. Let me download the game for free. Let me make an account for free. And let me play 2 hours for free. Match what Steam's doing. Give me 2 hours. And at the end of that, you kick me back to a login screen that says, if you want continued access to this game, it's going to cost you $60. So give me the chance to try before I buy it. Then I can decide if I'm going to give you $60 and keep playing this new version of Call of Duty, or if I'm going to delete it from my hard drive and move on. That makes for better games because it forces you to make a game that's good because people are going to try it before they buy it. It also encourages digital game sales, and you can do away with that physical media you seem to hate so much. And I see why. Production costs are high. Yeah.
Finally put that last nail in GameStop's coffin.
Yep, finally do that, because I get why they hate physical media. It's expensive. It's expensive to make and distribute, and have to then give some of your profits to those retailers that sell it for you, like Best Buy and Walmart and GameStop. It's a lot of hassle.
And then
when you could just
on any sale that's secondhand.
Yep, and then miss out on all the secondhand sales. So it ends up costing them more money than it makes them. It's much easier and much more profitable for them to just throw a game up on a server and give you access to download it. So that's important. And I think that is the future. I know some people hate that because they like having games on a shelf in their house and they like having that physical collection to look at. But that's not the way we do things anymore. And as much as I miss having that in my house too, I really love not having to carry around a pocket load of Switch game cartridges to play games on my Switch. I like having my entire library at my fingertips. As much as I miss having the shelf and something to show off to people, that conversation piece when someone comes to visit, I really like the fact that I can just fire up my PS4, look at my dashboard, and have folder after folder of games that I've collected. And I can just show it off digitally. That's fine. I like that I don't have to get up and change disc. I like that I don't have to worry about a disc getting broken or scratched because I have children. It's better. And that's the better way to do it. Then I don't have to worry about, finding a red box that has a copy of the game if I want to rent it before I buy it, or dealing with some companies like GameStop's return policy if I bought it and I need to take it back. I don't have to worry with any of that anymore. I just download the game, play it for 2 hours, boom. And that's how you can soft launch your games. That's the way to do it. Launch them.
That being said, you can also still do the box market just as a decorative piece.
Yeah, you could do your collector's editions and have the collector's edition come with a download code and all that extra swag.
Or I'm not even saying that. You just, like the way you sell pop vinyl figures or little statues or anything, you could do decorative boxes that people can collect and put on their shelves. They have nothing in them, but it's something they can physically show, I've got this game in my collection and I want to have it on my shelf as well. And then you could also put some and a better effort into, instead of just having it as a raggy taggy cardboard thing that falls apart after 5 minutes, you could actually put some creative detail into it, make it look good.
Yeah, I mean, they could still do box sales. Minecraft did it back in the day before it started doing disc versions of the game. Minecraft, MMOs have done it with their time cards where they sold actual, DVD-sized boxes for the game that didn't have a game inside of it. It just had a download code. Yeah. But it was something you could put on a shelf to show that you owned a copy of Minecraft. It was something you could put on a shelf to show that you owned a copy of Star Wars: The Old Republic, or you've bought this much time in the game if you buy time cards or whatever. They've done that. And you could still do that for those people who want to have their collection on the wall. But put the nail in GameStop's coffin. This is how you soft launch your games. You make them free to download. Every game comes with a free trial now. Don't make it, because PlayStation does that shit, where they make it a PlayStation Plus perk, where some games have a 10-hour trial if you're a PlayStation Plus member, where you can download the full game for 10 hours through PlayStation Plus. No, just do that with every game now. That forces me to sign up for an account. It forces me to get a taste of the game, and get hooked. If you're going to treat these like drugs where I'm constantly having to pump more money into it to keep enjoying my experience, to keep that high going, then do like a drug dealer does and give me that first hit for free. That's how you launch your games. Because that's how they do them now. Games aren't this story-driven, beginning, middle, end experience it used to be that you paid $60 for, you consumed, and then you bought the sequel. No, now it's I'm expected to play this game until the sequel comes out and still pump more money into it. And if that's the case, you're trying to get me hooked, that's how you get me hooked. You make that first hit free.
Hell, for even with this, you mightn't even have to do sequels. Just continue adding on to the already there experience, kind of like how World of Warcraft has done.
Yeah, you could do that.
So
or
instead of doing a Destiny 3, you do Destiny March of the Darkness, Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny
Rise
is
of.
I mean, if you're going to do a sequel, I think they should still do sequels that are built from the ground up to be new experiences that have learned from the last. But I think if you're really going to do it like that, where games are as a service, and the best way to do that is only do the sequel when a new generation of consoles comes out. So you've got a new piece of hardware to show off, and you can do things with this version of the game that you didn't have the technology to do with the last. That kind of sequel I'm all for. Yeah, sure. But I'm with you. Make it if you're going to make it this service that I have to log into and keep paying for in some shape, form, or fashion, it's going to nickel and dime me to death, or you're trying to get me hooked, then don't charge me $60 to get my foot in the door. Give me that first hit for free, and then you can still charge me that $60 after I've gotten a taste. Earn my money. Earn your keep. Soft launch your games properly so that you're getting players addicted to the game and not to the hype. That's how you do it. That's how you change gaming. That's how you fight GameStop. That's how you get your players hooked. That's how you fix your PR problems. If anything, Fortnite taught us a few things. 1, people fucking want crossplay. 2, people fucking hate loot boxes. They want to buy their cosmetics directly, and they like earning shit in games. And the third thing it taught us is that you don't need to sell a game for $60 to make an assload of money on it. People want to download it for free. I'm not saying every game should be a free-to-play game, but it should be free to try. That's all I'm saying. And that's where I'm going to end this podcast, because we've been going for over an hour here, gentlemen. And I think everyone seems to agree with me going through all my chats here on all the live streams I'm doing. Everybody seems to be in agreement that they would love that. Your customers would love it. They have spoken. And I am recording this podcast live on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Smashcast, Steam, Facebook, Periscope. I'm live on all these platforms, and I'm looking at chats from people on each, and everyone is in agreement that this is how they would want to buy their games. Download for free. You know, every successful business model already does this except for gaming. Netflix comes with a free trial. Hulu comes with a free trial. You know? All these services.
And also Netflix doesn't require you to have a separate account for every single device you need to do.
All of those.
It's one account.
Yep, they all already have crossplay. Netflix has crossplay. Hulu has crossplay. They all have crossplay. They all have free trials. And they all make way more money than Anthem. Just food for thought.
Can take my Netflix account from the TV, start watching a episode of random TV show, and to go lay down on my bed with my phone and pick up watching that same show from the same spot on the phone.
Yep. If you're going to release it on more than one console, more than one place, give me crossplay. If you want me to get hooked on your game as a service, since you're trying to get me addicted instead of just give me an experience, then give me that first hit for free. There's your soft launch. Free of charge. Electronic Arts, take that to your marketing department. Show them this podcast. You don't have to pay me royalties, but it would be nice. As for the rest of you, thank you for watching, Witches. Thank you for listening if you've downloaded this and you're listening after the live broadcast. For those of you in all my chats on all the social platforms that have enjoyed this podcast live, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for giving me your thoughts on how a properly soft launch game should be, and telling me your predictions for E3. I think everybody's kind of unsure what to expect from this year's version of E3, seeing as how Sony's pulled out, and it seems to have just a different atmosphere about it. But we're going to end the podcast there. This has been the AAA Hole podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for including me in your life. And don't forget, we will be back next week. You can watch it live Monday night, or you can download it right here on the favorite place you get podcasts, Podbean, SoundCloud, or YouTube, Wednesday morning. For the AAA Hole podcast, I have been your AAA Hole Death Witch. This has been Aussie the Aussie. Say bye to everybody, Aussie.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.